People of TikTok, this is our morning breaking news updates. This is Saturday. We've made it to the weekend, and I know Easter is coming, tomorrow. So I just want to tell everybody happy Easter. So the first thing we're going to go over is this beautiful little boy. His name's Elijah Vu. He is a 3-year-old missing from Two Rivers, Wisconsin. His mom and her boyfriend are in jail right now for Elijah Vu, as well as his little sister that goes unnamed, and they still haven't found him. They had a huge police presence, one of the largest police presence since he disappeared, at a local lake in Manitowoc County. But I've read the reports. They had like a 70-man drone team out there, a huge outfit, a huge presence out there, and they didn't find anything. So the search for Elijah Vu, we're going on like week 7 or 8. I mean, this little boy's been gone for a significant amount of time. Give me just a minute because I got to do this every morning. I don't know why it does that for my very first one, but either way, that's restrict. What is it? Live. Okay, not now. There we go. Hold on just a second. There we go. Okay, there we go. So good morning. Sorry, I had to do that. So Madeline Soto, this is Madeline Soto. She was a little girl that disappeared on February 26th. Her mom's boyfriend, Stefan Stearns, said he took her to school. Her mother said she went to pick her up. A lot of people believe the mom knew something because her mom's boyfriend, Stefan Stearns, let me see if I can find a photo of him, actually had a lot of photos and videography of this little girl on his phone. And this photo right here was taken just one day after one of those events happened, according to the probable cause affidavit. Look how young she is. And you see her hands where she barely even wants to touch him. So this was Madeline Soto. Guys, nobody to this day has even been arrested for her disappearance or death. I see some people talking down here. Let me go down here and just check. Do you think this will be another Summer Wells case? If you're talking about Elijah Vu, it's starting to look that way. But the difference is I think Wisconsin, I think they've had cases with no bodies. The problem with Tennessee is they honestly, they don't really prosecute unless they find everything, and that's what's so heartening for, say, Summer Wells, say Sebastian Rogers. That's one of the reasons why I'm having this huge push to find Sebastian, despite how we felt about the United Cajun Navy, which ended up, saying that they were threatened, which doesn't sound like it was a threat at all. It sounds like a property owner told them to get off their property after they trespassed. And when the property owner asked them to get off, one of the girls there, which is a TikToker here on this platform, decides to be rude to him and be like, what do you mean? It's just right here. We're just right here. It's like that you could have treated him with a little more respect, but instead that's what happened. And then when the property owner threatened, the threat was them calling the law. I want to make sure that everybody knows that mainstream media is saying that these people were threatened. Yeah, they were threatened. They were threatened to have law enforcement called on them if they didn't get off property. So to me, that's not a threat. That's somebody exercising their right to their property. And it's just a mess. It's just a mess when it comes to it. But he disappeared on the same day she disappeared. So Sebastian, I'm worried about him. She's been found. She was found on March 11th, 2 days after her mom's boyfriend was arrested for some really unsavory stuff. And when the arrest record came out for her, it broke my heart. It broke my heart because there was a lot of stuff going on with this young girl all the way back to 8 years old. And again, a lot of people believe the mom would have known. I'm not on that bandwagon. I've met people that have been abused in this way, and there's a 50-50 split on the ones that actually told somebody and the ones that didn't. And so I believe that Stefan Stearns, based upon everything I see, I believe he used manipulation strategies to control not only her, but her mother, Jen. So I'm a little odd when it comes to this, but, either or. This is about Elijah Vu, again, the 3-year-old. They're bringing in thermal technology. I honestly, it's been 6 weeks. I don't know what thermal is left of this boy, but they're now bringing in thermal imaging. I don't quite understand that personally. Lastly, we have, before we dive into Sebastian Rogers, we have Riley Strain. For those that don't know what's going on, Riley Strain really grabbed a lot of our attention when we found out this young boy was missing from Nashville after leaving a local bar called Luke's 32, owned by legendary singer Luke Bryan. It sounds like there's a lot of bars along that strip that are owned by legendary country music singers. It is Nashville, Tennessee. So long story short, he wound up in the river, and when he was found, he had no water in his lungs. He had no pants or boots on. And so people are questioning this. Now, they're still not saying that they believe, like even the family's not saying they believe that there's foul play involved. They're just saying that these things are inconsistent with what they know and logic. And they just want to know more information about it. And we still have to take into consideration, guys, his bank card wound very far away in a very unusual location than anything else associated with him. How did that card get there? We all thought it was because his shirt was off him, but out of everything that was found on Riley, the one thing that was found with him was his shirt. So this shirt being on a homeless person does not hold water because Riley was found in that shirt. So now that we know homeless guy doesn't have Riley's shirt, therefore everybody's illusion or theory rather that if the homeless man dropped it out of his pocket when he picked up the shirt to put it on is not true, because the shirt is with Riley. No homeless guy has his shirt. So how did that credit card end up on that side of the river, on that bank, while his body without clothing, from the waist down except boxers, were missing off of his person? We talked to experts, we read some articles, and we know for a fact that it'd make it harder for clothes to come off in the wet. Now, one of the nuances is it got hooked up on something. But, when I had talked about bloating, the bloating may have tore the clothes, according to the experts, the bloating of the body would actually help to keep the clothes on the body. And just the opposite of what I thought would happen. So, we have a lot of issues here with this. And then, of course, I'm just going to run through this just a little bit about Sebastian Rogers. Sebastian Rogers, 15-year-old boy, autistic boy that disappeared from his home. It is a crazy story. Mom says she put him to bed, woke up in the morning at 6 a.m. and he was gone. He calls the stepfather. The stepfather wasn't there all weekend, but they were on the phone the night before for 3 hours and la 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 la. But the problem is the only person that shows scratches all up and down their arm is Chris Proudfoot. The only person that will not tell us where they've been the night that Sebastian disappeared is Chris Proudfoot. We know where Katie Proudfoot is. We know where Seth Rogers is. But for whatever reason, anytime anybody asks Chris Proudfoot where he was, he says law enforcement basically tells him that his timeline is the most important timeline of this whole entire case, and he just can't share it with the public because law enforcement doesn't want him sharing it with the public. But I think he's lying because they tried to approach TBI and tell TBI they don't want to do interviews with media, and they wanted TBI to basically imply that they're the ones saying that the family can't have these interviews, and they wouldn't play. And so they went on and did a public notice and basically said the family has asked us to put this public notice out because they would not like to give interviews or something. It wasn't said like that, obviously, but it basically through whoever asked them to stop the media, they threw him under the bus. So Chris and Katie were basically thrown under the bus by TBI because they said, well, we're not saying that you guys can't do interviews, but they are wanting us to say, and they basically said that. The family is wanting us to come here to let you know that they want us to tell you they can't do interviews, but, they're more than welcome to. I can't remember how it went, but I was like, oh, okay, it was a little shady, TBI ain't playing. So that was going on. And, this whole time, Seth Rogers, we all know that he works overnight, and he was just getting off that morning. So he has a pretty buttoned up alibi, whether or not he is, oh, thank you, Stephs, whether or not he is cleared or not. We know his alibi. We know where he is. We know the probability of him being able to leave undetected to go to do this, take his son or whatever. There's no time there. We can logically explain that it would make it almost next to impossible for him to do that being at work that night. So it's not that it's impossible. I'm just saying next to impossible. We don't know what happened to this young boy. Could it be Seth? Okay, yeah, possibility, of course. It could be anybody, right? But with him being at work, not exhibiting scratches, not hiding from the world, literally being out there day in and day out, turning over every rock and stone to try to find his son, while the last people that saw your son are sitting at home and running off to Mississippi when everybody else is searching for your son. So it's been very difficult to watch. But the Proudfoots really want us to believe that they had nothing to do with this. And while there's nothing saying that they did, and I'm not accusing them of doing anything, I'm just saying that their behaviors and their story doesn't make sense, and I'd like to know why. I would like to know why, work is more important than a 15-year-old boy. Why were they working together up until Sebastian disappeared, and then all of a sudden the family wants nothing to do with Seth, nothing to do with this, that, the other, and just major distance between them. Yet, when Sebastian was here, they didn't even need court intervention to make modifications to their custody arrangements. So it implied that they're accustomed to working together for the betterment of their son. So why all of a sudden are they stopping all communication with Seth Rogers? It doesn't make sense. While I'm not accusing the Proudfoots of doing anything, right? I'm just saying their behavior and their mannerism is off. Because we watched Riley Strain's father and mother and father's wife and mother's husband all come together for the sake of Riley Strain. You saw both sets of parents sitting there. You saw both sets of parents working together to find their son and bring their boy home. You didn't see them talking smack about one another. You didn't see, Riley Strain's dad's wife go over there and threaten the mom and stepfather to sue them. If you didn't, you see what I'm saying? Like, normal parents that are looking for the kid don't act this way. None of us would act this way. Think about it. Even you probably have maybe not such a great relationship with your child's father. But if something happened to your kid, are you going to tell me that you're going to be more angry at your ex than you are finding your child? Like, that to me in a normal reality doesn't make sense. Like, even a dick, like, I can deal with a dick to find my kid, right? Even if it was the biggest dick in the whole world. I'd stand right next to him if we're all working to find my kid. Hell, I'm telling everybody to go out there and work with this shitty bunk United Cajun Navy group just to get bodies out there, even though I think they're a completely fraudulent organization. Why? Because the bottom line is Sebastian's more important than that bullshit. But they ran off anyways. They said that they were threatened, which I don't believe. I think we all knew that they were going to be exiting soon. They came in there for clout and money. They didn't come there to help. And it's really disheartening that one of our own creators here on social media, on TikTok, was associated with that scam. Absolutely balls to the walls, involved in that whole hustle. And I'm not going to call her out because I was debuted with her on Cyber Sleuths, and I have a little more respect for the profession, and I understand people make mistakes, but I personally try to forewarn all creators what this organization was about so they didn't get jammed up in it. And then I find out this is the same person that went after JLR. And I don't really care about JLR. I could care two shits about him, to be honest with you. I don't like him either, if you want my truth. But you don't see me calling cops on him. If he's there to help, he's there to help. I could give two craps. It sounded to me like the only people that wanted to have access to the family or this news cycle was this United Cajun Navy with the help of this one creator. She wanted to take the spotlight at the expense of this young boy. And I can't even. I'm not even going to give her a plug. I'm not going to do anything. I hope she learns. I hope she does better. I hope she apologizes. because she was part of a scam where people got scammed. People donated a lot of shit out there for this organization not even to put forth 16 full hours in a week. It's disheartening. So again, I'm not one, if you guys know anything about me, I don't come on these platforms and trash individuals unless they're trashing me. Now, you start trashing me and you start talking crap about me when I've done nothing to you, I'll go scorch earth on you. And I'm sorry, that's just the way I am, right? If you're going to step to me and I did not do anything to ask for it, you better be prepared. Either take me out or watch out, So this girl's never done anything to me. I know she's talked shit about me over the years, here and there, over this, over that, or whatnot. But for the most part, she hasn't done anything nasty to me. I'm not going to throw her shade on her because I know of all people, I've made mistakes. I made a ton of mistakes, doing this content creation stuff, right? And so maybe it's just an error on her part. So we'll see if she apologized. We'll see what her statements are. We'll see if she just realizes this is a bad organization and she made a terrible mistake. Now she's going to continue to double down on this United Cajun Navy being a great organization. I can't, you guys are going to have to make your own damn decision on that because I don't know what to tell you. But I know that I was taken back when I saw the cyber sleuths and saw these two girls going after Jan. It's like, why, who cares? This has nothing to do with the Idaho 4. I don't understand how he's so important or what his past is. A lot of us have past. I have a past. If you want to attack people for past, fine, attack me, right? I can tell you I've been arrested more times than that man has. What does that mean? Explain that to me. I had a lot of problems growing up, What does that have to do? Does that have to do with somehow that my past is, I'm beholden to my past now, that because I had this horrible lifestyle that I had in my 20s, that it somehow has to affect me in my 40s? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I go out there, I kick ass. You guys watch what I do. Some days are better than others, right? Some days I'm like, wah, 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 right? People make mistakes. I'm chill with that. I don't think people are perfect. Can you imagine how boring the world would be if we were all perfect? It'd suck, right? How would we know what good is if we didn't know what bad was, right? We have to learn to be thankful for things, and I think these things are the things that we need to learn about in life. So I hope she does apologize, especially if any of her audience helps support that particular organization. I'm not saying, that they haven't been out, doing food drives and stuff like that. I think that's what they need to stay doing. I think large scale search efforts is not their forte. I don't think they know enough about the law to organize such a thing like this. And they were encroaching on a lot of people's private property. And the problem is, if you just had a flyer and went and knocked on their door and said, hey, we're with the search group and, we're searching for this young boy. Have you had an opportunity to check the outside of your home or on your property? And they'd say yes or no. And they'd say, well, it's how long has it been since the last time you searched? And they'll tell you, well, would you mind if we just did a cursory review maybe in your backyard? And a lot of people would be like, sure, as long as you don't step here or do this, why don't you guys go back there and just check it out for me? No problem, no harm, no foul. There's a way to do it without going on people's property and upsetting them. Sometimes people just want to be asked. And not only that, but you know how many times we've gone to doors and knocked on them to ask them if we can search their backyard or under their house, if they would mind something like that. And they start talking to us about the case and providing us some real legit information. And it was just because we knocked on that door. And had we not knocked on that door and just went in their yard, we would have never gotten that information. So again, I think they were just handling themselves wrong. I think they came after social media wrong, but I kept looking back. Why are they doing this to social media? And then it dawned on me that this creator was there. She does not like JLR. Now we realize why this was created. So I really truly believe this one creator on here actually helped all of this drama that came into this young boy's case, but I don't know. So again, I'm not wanting to throw shade on her. So that's kind of where I'm at with the whole situation. I feel really bad for Sebastian Rogers. The great news is there is a beautiful team that's still out there on the grounds. They're a Facebook team that's unrelated to the United Cajun Navy. And guess what? They have been searching this whole time. And every single day, even when that organization would not, and they're still out there, boots on the ground. If you guys go over to the mysterious, what's the group organization? I saw something in there. It's a private group, but it's called the mysterious. The mysterious disappearance of Sebastian Rogers, I believe it is. And they're the ones posting the other group's schedule and where they're meeting. So if you guys would still like to go out this beautiful Easter weekend and assist in an hour or two of searching, please go over to that Facebook group and find out where they're meeting for the search, and go out there and help them. The searches have not stopped. Only the United Cajun Navy has, okay? So nobody else, no other search groups are having these issues with law enforcement and stuff like that, just this organization. So that tells you that this organization is not doing what is right. Lastly, we talked about Chris Proudfoot and the scratches on his arm. I've had to put it up on the reel. Give me just a second. I'll move this. Let me find there we go. Those right there. I usually put it on a moving one where you can see the scratches and stuff on his arms. And so many people had brought up the fact that they believe that this is bite wounds. And so I was looking at some of the bite patterns on it, and I have to be honest with you. Some of the markings on his arm where I'm looking and just looking at stuff like this, I think my audience is right. You know, some of those markings on his arms that he's saying are scratches from this dog. Now, I don't know, and I don't like spreading gossip, so God forgive me if those aren't bite marks. But I went back and looked at some of the photos of his arms, and I gotta say, I think my audience is onto something with this whole possibility of a bite mark or bite marks, multiple, on Chris Proudfoot's arm that time when he was giving that interview. I'm absolutely surprised he would show his arms with that many scratches on it and a child missing. It was just really weird. So I don't know, guys. I just want to thank you. If you guys know anything about our breaking news updates here early in the morning are actually sponsored by our monthly subscribers here on the Bullhorn Betty TikTok channel. So if you guys like these things, if you find this little spurts of information are great information for you first thing in the morning and you'd like to help our channel, please consider sponsoring our channel. It's a monthly membership. It really does help us build our channel. It helps us grow. It helps us get out to locations. It helps us do our job a lot better. So if you would like to be part of this, please consider being a monthly sponsor and a member of our channel. I'd really greatly appreciate it. We're keeping you up to date with all the latest and greatest information here on TikTok. And, you know, there is also, and I said this last night, there is a video that has been dropped. It's on Trev Time's YouTube channel. It is a 2-hour long, but this is the ex-wife of Christopher Proudfoot, the ex-wife. It is a mind-blowing interview. It lasts 2 hours. I know I've been on here for a few days just telling everybody about it, and they're like, 2 hours? Who has time for 2 hours? I'm telling you, you're not going to want to miss this interview. It was very emotional for me. I can't express it in that. I was literally crying the entire, almost the entire interview. My eyes are literally swollen on the top of my eyes because of that interview. It really gave us, in my opinion, it gave us an insight into who Christopher Proudfoot is. And I believed her. I believed her story. She came off very authentic. You felt her pain and you knew she wasn't making it up. I don't know how anybody could say that she was making it up or acting. She doesn't appear to be that kind of a person where they have the best acting. I mean, if she's that kind of actor, then she needs to be on the big screen, babe. I'm telling you, she needs an Emmy because that was a great performance if she was lying. I tell you what. And it's on Trev Time, which is on YouTube. And I'm telling you, it's her name is Nina Gomez. And it was just, I can't believe what I heard. I mean, I knew that Chris was accused of doing some, pretty rotten stuff, but I don't think it wasn't as shocking as Madeline Soto's, what happened to her when they finally released what was on Stefan Stern's phone. It wasn't that shocking, but it was right up there, folks. It was like really, really right up there. So it was significant. Oh, you guys are talking. I got like 100 missing things. I wonder if he's abusive to Nina. Oh, he was very abusive to Nina. The stuff that she, and this is the problem, is people that haven't been abused or have never seen abuse in their household or their family or something, they don't understand this stuff, or could easily, dismiss maybe some of her statements as, oh, there's no way that would have happened, blah, blah, blah. But when you come from an abusive family, you come from abuse yourself, you were an abused woman from a teenage years on up, you know abuse, the begging of help, people not listening to you, or people thinking you're a drama queen, or people thinking you have ulterior motives, or, all this other stuff. And they just don't, they talk crap. Like, you could feel that from her, and you could feel that she has been trying to tell the truth and nobody would listen to her or believe her or think there's an ulterior motive in telling the truth. But I believed her. And that's a woman coming from a lifetime of abuse. And, by the grace of God, I haven't been abused for, many years now, but I know the lifestyle, I know the control, I know the behaviors, I know the helplessness, I know even the love, right? The unconditional love for your abuser. I know it. I get it. So it was just very believable. I hope everybody gets an opportunity to hear that. I'm going to go through it and try to get some highlights and just try to create a video for you guys. For the ones that just can't really watch it, I'll try to get some of the jaw-dropping highlights of it and put it in a video for you, and try to parse it down. But I really do recommend everybody on here watching the video in its entirety. It like every single detail matters. It really does. And it scares me for Sebastian. Now that I heard her story, I'm I'm concerned. I'm more concerned now for the well-being of Sebastian than I've ever been. So we really need to get out there. So whatever you guys can do to get out there to help, if you guys have the ability, please go out there and help search. He needs to be found. Trev time. That's correct. It's Trev time on, and then somebody reminded me that Dolly does. He has a recent interview with Seth Rogers as well, and that's on Dolly Vision on YouTube. I know you guys are TikTokers. It's almost like the Hatfields and McCoys, TikTok and YouTube. You guys don't want to mix, but you know what? I'm on both platforms, so let's blend this family, babies. Come on, let's blend the family a little bit, because we got a lot of good information over there on YouTube, and we got a lot of great information over here on TikTok. All right. So, YouTube and TikTok got together and spit me out. Okay. So, I don't know what they call me. I need to stop. We're here to blend the family. I'm just joking. And the lab had something after that too. Yeah, they all did a really great job in explaining it, but it was that Trev time. Trevor is just a really sweet guy. I got to meet him and know him. I'm pretty sure I've met him personally maybe once, but I can't even recall if I did or not. But I've known of him for a really long time. He's just a sweet guy. He's just a sweet, authentic, genuine person that really just wants to help. He was out there with the Cajun Navy. He was out there trying to get the volunteers all organized and stuff like that. Like, all he wanted everybody to do was just get along. He's one of those kind-hearted souls, right? And he just wants the best for Sebastian. And he had this rare opportunity to speak to Chris Proudfoot's ex-wife, and she really wanted to come on and tell people her truth, because now a boy's missing, and she's been trying to raise the roof to tell everybody about this man before this happened. Nobody took her seriously, and now there's a boy missing, and she's very concerned about this young boy's health. And you got to remember, her 6-year-old daughter Faith is the step sister to Sebastian, new Sebastian. Her daughter's going through some emotional issues over this, and this woman showed more emotion, sympathy, and empathy for this missing boy than his own mother. It was disgusting. Like, I'm so ashamed of Chris and Katie, and I just really, if Katie is watching, this is what I got to say, and I'm going to say this a little bit different on a different channel, but we all come from a past. We all have our abuses. We all have our strengths, we all have our weaknesses. And sometimes when we're going through something that's very earth-shattering, our brains go blank. We don't know what to do. We're pulled 1,000 different directions. So my statement, Miss Proudfoot, is if you're listening to me, you're away from Chris right now. You're away from the abuse. You are safe. Your son is not. You can't keep protecting Chris. You can't keep taking a man over your son. Your son trusted you. Your son needed you. And your son needs you right now. He needs you to find a way to pull your strength together and to fight for him. This is going to be uncomfortable, and I know you have probably been manipulated very, very, very much by Chris. He may even be telling you that you're responsible. He may even be trying to convince you that you are going to go to jail right next to him if you open your mouth. I can promise you law enforcement wants to help you. They want to help you. So, Katie, if you're listening, I'm truly asking you from a woman to a woman to step up to the plate and do the right thing for your son. Tell them what happened. If you are abused, get yourself protected. Because if he can do this to your son, I don't even want to think what he can do to you, being the only witness. It might be something to think about. And I pray to God that you save yourself, because nobody else is there to save you. God bless. That's what I want Katie to know. And I hope she steps up to the plate. I hope she stands up. I hope she goes against this man. I hope she realizes what he's telling her is not right. He's in it to save his own ass. And she will be his pawn at his first opportunity. At his first opportunity, Katie will be his pawn. Katie will be his plan B. She needs to speak up. She had nothing to do with this, and he flipped out on her son. This has got to be the most craziest thing she's probably going through, but no matter how you look at it, she has responsibility to take care of her son and to protect her son. And right now, she needs to come forward. That's how she can protect her son right now. That's how she can honor her son right now. Nobody's believing this story at all. Not when you have marks consistent with some of these marks up here on his he's the only one with marks on his body. He's the only one that won't tell us what his timeline is. He's the only one that thinks everything around him is state top secret. He's the only one that is constantly taking over and controlling the narrative. It's just, something's not right with Chris Proudfoot, and it's not making me feel comfortable, and I want to find out what it is. So, there you have it. There you have it. All right, guys. So I will talk to you guys later. You guys have an amazing day. We'll chat soon, but that's where we're at here on the all the cases. This is Madeline Soto. Again, no charges yet from mom or her boyfriend. He's still in there for all those videos and stuff like that. Elijah Vu. They did a huge search out at the pond. They didn't find any information that was going to help them or be beneficial to them. And then, of course, we have Riley Strain, no water in his lungs, missing some clothes from the waist down that have people concerned. And then lastly, Sebastian Rogers, the drama from the Cajun Navy. Cajun Navy pulling out of the organized search. There are searchers still on the ground. The searching has not stopped. And we still move forward, and we're still seeking any information to the whereabouts of Sebastian Rogers. I don't know if a reward has come up. I'm hoping that maybe his mother and a stepfather, Chris Proudfoot, find it in their good graces to increase the reward fund for their missing son that went missing from their house. I hear that Katie Proudfoot is back home. Chris Proudfoot is still at his Memphis RV. So Katie Proudfoot is protected. She's safe now. She's away from Chris. So any excuse from this point forward as to why she won't come clean shows culpability, intentional culpability on Katie Proudfoot's part. All right, guys, God bless. Take care, and we'll talk soon.